Welcome to the kingdom of Matt Medium and all the glory to its transparency. I am Rick Strohmeyer, Color Sorcerer Supreme, and we are gathered today with the Princess of Punctuation, the Queen of Cleanliness, and the Oligarch of Organization, the Mad Hattress. All right. Good evening and happy Saturday.
I love you so much.
All right.
What a nice intro.
Thank you. I typed it up myself. All right. So let's see. It is, oh, look at that. Color of the month is black. All right. So it is July 15th. That means first 8th and 15th, or the only 3 weeks, the first 3 Saturdays of the month. That means we are dead the next 2 weeks, 2 Saturdays. So we'll see you in August.
It sounds so morbid when you say it like that.
Wow. Can you believe it? August already? Wow. So yeah. All right. So a little housekeeping before we just go underway today. Besides the double dead week for July, we have the color of the month, which is the almighty black, and and all its the wonderful property giving joy it has. We also, let's see, I don't know, shows. Do we have any shows coming up lately? We might not. You have circles and squares,
well,
right?
September's.
September.
Yeah. Maybe. Possibly.
Cool.
I don't know. Do I have circles and squares?
Sure you do, don't you? I don't know.
Think
I have a craft fair or a couple. The start of the outdoor convention times for me, not for all of Minnesota, but for me starts in a couple of weeks, which is great. So also we are Minnesota. We are going to be painting live tonight, as well as answering whatever questions for the regular.
I know. Can I tell you, I packed that bag and I don't know where it is.
You what?
The bag. Remember the bag that I packed for all the paints that I literally just texted you about? And now I'm like, where did I put it? I brought the water cup with me, and I'm like, where did the paint go?
Oh dear. But the most important question before we ask where's the bag? No. Okay. So.
Oh, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I realized that you can't hear me when I'm on the side of this. Sorry.
What are you drinking tonight, Nicole?
I don't promote Dasani specifically because I don't like their water, but water.
I had a buddy say it's the best.
I had this in my fridge and I was like, let's just get rid of it.
I had a buddy once tell me that it was the best water because it was the first water she was given after she got out of jail.
I mean, that's a fair reason.
Yeah. And like by jail, I mean an overnight stay.
I suppose.
But yeah. Alicia made me a Thai tea. Look at that. Oh, whoops.
Wait.
One other.
Like Thai or chai?
Yeah. Thai. Like shirt good, Thai better. No, like THAI. Like if you were in a very poor part of the country, you would probably say Thai.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I like Thai. Is it iced tea or just
it's a so like she was introduced to it when she went to Thailand right before the pandemic, and So it is a black tea with sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, and tons of sugar, and it's delicious. And we went to this outdoor affair today, and of course we got Thai teas there, or she got one, and I helped her, and we got all kinds of other food truck fare, and it's like, oh, I need to go home and make this. And yes, we do. So yeah, so, like drinking out of a skull mug, and it's delicious.
Ooh, I like the mug too. I like the mug.
Oh yeah,
It's like-
we got all kinds of shit.
Okay, I found the bag.
Great. All right, so let's see. We got shows going on. We got events going on. We got.
Hi, Dylan.
Hey. Let's see. I got to open up the chat. Thanks, Bunch.
He's babysitting his 3 nieces, and he wishes I was there last night to sing one of them to sleep. But that was not happening.
There you go. You do what you got to do. All right, so we're doing painting and we're doing a couple other things tonight. So quick question, or maybe not just a quick question.
Yeah.
It'll be topic of discussion. How's that? I am going to change my workstation here. So in my up in my studio, things are pretty set. You know, my table, my painting table desk, my painting desk sits in a very specific spot, and it's bookended by various things. And I'm going to the new tabletop that I have is the right width, so it fits right in here. It's going to be a little shallower, so I can actually be a little closer to my stuff that's against the wall, even though I can reach it all here. But it's also going to be a little lower to coincide with the gamer's chair instead of like being a little too high. So if you had to make your very own semi-custom paint table / work desk, what would be something you'd put on there? Like, just imagine I have all the Legos in the world, because pretty much everything is here. I don't have to buy a single thing to make this table. So
I think I would want something that has like a holder for my brushes, because like I tend to carry my shit like in this and change out my brushes like in something like this.
Okay.
I think like if you made like a like a cup, like a cup.
So I have the IKEA's
that'd be really
pegboard.
fucking cool.
I have IKEA's
so you wouldn't have
pegboard
to, like,
system. So
yeah,
I have IKEA's pegboard system, and when my brushes are dry and clean, they go right there. You can see how easy it is to grab it. But when they're wet, I have a horizontal rack to hold them like samurai swords, so that while they're drying, the pigment does not go into the ferrule. So I was thinking like I might make an organization tray for some of my loose bottles of paint to sit on my go-to paints on the tray or on the surface itself. And like I'm open to a lot of ideas or suggestions, because really like my organization is terrible, and I've been guessing my whole fucking I've been guessing a lot. A lot.
a lot.
So like, and I have a stack of drawers that'll go underneath, because like I don't have room here because it had a little built-in drawer system that's going to go away. But I mean, of course it'll go away because this will go away. And then I have to put, and then because it's going to be lower, my keyboard and mouse will be off to the side until I use them. So like, they're going to be separated. So I mean, like, you don't have to give me any answers now. But I'm just like, yeah, I'll brainstorm this, and see what happens.
Yeah, now
I
I gotta think, because
so I'm like, everything's in reach that I need to, and like some of the main things that I would like to do is like make a safer holder for my X-Acto blades or X-Acto knives. Like not to say that
That would be
they're
a good
stored
idea.
poorly. It's just they're just not. They're all in one little metal tray, and I know that that's the sharp tray. You don't go reaching in there blindly. So, yeah,
Yeah, no.
like even the
Maybe like See, I'm thinking of like slot. Like I keep just picturing like slots of things, like for things, and I'm like, that's just going to be ridiculous if you just have like little cups for like things everywhere. Because like, I'm like, for me, what would be great? Oh, where this is not knocked, like I can't knock this over, so like Legos around this,
like a bigger base.
like
for
that would be great. That would be great for like, yeah, like with just like the box around it. Because
have you knocked that over
and like
before?
it's. No, not yet, but I don't see myself not knocking it over.
Okay. Well, yeah,
if you've seen my living room floor, it is very colorful because of my tendency to not. Yeah, but mine's my living room.
I mean, like I put carpet.
I also want to rip up the carpet, so who cares?
I put carpet tile in here with the express idea that like it cost me like $200 to put cheap carpet tile in here, and that's what I'm gonna have until I leave. And like whoever had this house before me, like I know this house had multiple owners, but somebody put tar paper on top of the hardwood floors here. So when I ripped out the crappy blue carpet, I was surprised by asphalt paper on the fucking hardwood floors, and I'm like, there's no way I'm getting that off in a timely fashion. So I just said, fuck it, I'll paper over it, or I'll carpet over it. All right, so let's see. Before we go farther, all right, what are you going to work on tonight?
Okay, so I'm pulling out something else that like was never finished.
Good for you.
Because I feel like it. This little guy that I started like 3 years ago.
Right on.
2 years ago. Wait, when did I move here?
Pre-pandemic or post-pandemic?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was during pandemic, yeah.
Okay.
So there we go. Because I started it in oil, and then I got very impatient and very annoyed by it, and then I just stopped doing it. And now I'm like, oh, let's finish it with acrylic.
Right.
Because my patience is like, a child.
That's why acrylic paints exist.
Yeah.
Quick, give the name of the painter attributed to the creation of acrylic paints.
Who?
Starts with a D.
I don't know.
Rhymes with Iago Evera.
Was it Diego?
Yep.
Really?
So he commissioned a paint company to because he was a muralist, and he got frustrated on paints being not drying fast enough, so he ended up commissioning a paint company to figure out a water base paint that
no shit.
Yeah, and so like some of the first colors that they developed were like your bright pink, blue, and green, very much anything you would see at a Mexican restaurant, because those were the first paints that to be made as like latex or acrylic base.
That's so cool. For those who don't know, Diego Rivera is Frida Kahlo's husband.
That's a piece of shit.
I was about to say, and a piece of shit.
It was a piece of shit. All right, so I have
like who cheats on their wife while she's dying? Okay, whatever.
Good movie though with Molina in it.
Oh my god, I know.
Let's see.
If I
I have
don't
a
love
shit
that
ton of
man
stuff to
anymore.
paint. Let's see. All right, so one of
I
the
know
first things
you
I'm going
do.
to do, I do. But I base coated the Bald Eagle Mad Monster right earlier, so that I could paint
Oh
part of it live
boy.
as per your request for um, this endeavor. So like, yeah. Um, so in order to get that done, I got to get my
No
wet
one would
palette.
cheat on Selma Hayek. Diego Rivera cheated on Frida Kahlo. I know that you know that, and you're just fucking with me, but whatever.
It's like Jim Gaffigan's bit about Halle Berry being uh, a, a beautiful lady and some having the unreasonable or unrealistic role of a homeless person. Because like she played a homeless person
Yeah.
in a movie, and Jim Gaffigan was like, you'd walk by her, you'd walk past her on the street, and you'd be like, well, all you need to do is a wash and a couple stills, and you'd look like Halle Berry. So like, yeah. All right. So in order to get, so I have, here we go. I got my Mad Monster base coated in brown, which brown is an awesome color. I'm gonna probably talk about how great brown is in a little while. But we got the feather, the brown feathery part of the fur done, feathery part, and baha. See, look at that, fuck yeah head. It is white, but it's not really. Lights are a little bright, but anyway. Um, so I'll probably talk about like how white is super easy and why brown is probably one of the best colors in the world. Which means my next showpiece will probably be brown. So anyway, in order to get to there, we got to start here, and I have my wet palette. Got the sponge not even partially hydrated. We're gonna dump some water in, get the level to where it works. Yeah, I didn't think it would take this much liquid, but anyway, so got to get the sponge wet. Throw the paper on top. And as a quick note, because I always say this when I talk about the wet palette, it is not a stasis chamber, but it does slow down. It does a good job slowing down the dry time. If your paints are naturally prone to separate while in the
Without doing an
bottle,
opener.
if your paints are naturally um, suspect to separate in the bottle, they will also separate in this thing too. It's just the way it is. But what this thing helps do is it helps preserve your colors for a while, and that while could be an hour, it could be months, depending on how good the quality of paints, the quality of humidity that's in here, and whether or not you sealed it up well. Yeah, so I've got it set up so that I can at least have pretty successful night of dry brushing, and I'm gonna show a fun trick about using dry brush with the wet palette, even though that sounds super counterintuitive. Um,
I don't think
but
so.
yeah, it works. You'll have to believe me. So I'm going to set up a couple different colors of brown on my palette, and I'll show this on the camera. The palette organization camera. So I've been using. There we go. Excellent. All right. So we got the wavy lines too. So I got a raw umber, a lighter umber that's raw umber mixed with white, and then I have a very fine. Look, there we go. Okay. So I have a raw umber, one mixed with white, and then a white, very much with just a little raw umber on it, and that's what we're going to use to dry brush the the fur to bring up the elegant tips on that. I have to turn it extra light. And we're gonna discuss. I'll discuss a couple extra tips, bonus tips too. So highlighting things. If you're ever going to be in doubt about how to highlight something, or whether or not your contrast is good during your highlight process, lower the amount of light in your area, and that so like while you're working on a higher contrast, the brighter side, that decreased light is going to show you where your brightest parts really are sticking out versus where your low lights are. So it's a trick. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but like I don't have my overhead lights on right now to help aid in that. It also just helps make me not look orange. But yeah, that's pretty much
Like
that.
last week.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. I'm not saying that the overhead lights made me look orange, but yeah. So, Nicole, do you dry brush a lot?
I do.
You do?
I like to use I mean, like, besides, like, like like the typical style of dry brushing, I guess. I really love using a scrubber.
A scrubber? Oh, sure.
I love using scrubber brushes.
Right on. I'm going to use an angle brush today. Mainly because the big reason is because of that tip is going to help me get into creases where
I was gonna
I
say that's
not.
gonna get in there.
So
Yeah.
so the you can dry brush. There's many ways to dry brush. The typical way is you smash your brush in the paint, rub it off on a piece of cardboard or tissue or paper towel, and then you just you lightly brush over to get the edges and highlight from there. Um, and that works really well. And that method of dry brushing works great if you're also doing like dusty things or natural things, rocks and stuff, so you can get a dry, dusty effect. Like as your brush dries up, it becomes a little more pigmented or chalky. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm actually going to I put a drop of water on my surface, and I'm actually going to put that water onto my brush and load up and just massage my brush for a second to get a little moisture in there to allow for my paint to actually have a little more uh, life on the brush instead of being just cat's being messy, huh? I know what that clap means. I do it myself. Hey, how's it going, Jason?
She's doing this to a moth that got in here, and she is an almighty hunter to the point where she will break things and knock furniture over, and I'm not dealing with that right now.
Okay. Funny enough, Munin almost got a bunny today for the same thing. Her little instinctive brain just Alicia saw a blur in the backyard. She's like, I just saw a blur. All right, so let's see. Back to the dry brush. All right.
Was Munin like, I gotta get it. I gotta get it.
She gave up when it went into the pumpkin patch because the pumpkin patch is so mighty in our backyard. Yeah. Okay, so I've put a little water in here, and now I'm going to grab my paint off of the out of the wet palette, and I'm still going to do the same thing where you would wipe off a lot of it, but I'm actually wiping it off on a non-porous surface that I don't have facilitate all the drying chalkiness of it, and so I'm keeping a bit of it a little wetter than like you would do for rocks and bricks and shit like that. And so, yeah, and let's see. We're gonna like this is a method. So I'm basically doing something that I would say like if you're doing something organic, use a little water to help in your methodology. If you're doing something inorganic, use a dry brush. So like I was studying bald eagle pictures for the last week. And then when it starts to get a little chalky,
my
that's when you're
God.
like, oh yeah, just grab a tiny little bit of moisture, slap it back in there, wipe it down for the most part. And yeah, so like tons of pictures of bald eagles to make sure like I could get like a really nice, like the brown is cool. Their brown fluctuates a bit, but the highlights change a little too. So I was trying to get like a nice compilation of what I thought the highlights would look like. Jason, I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, except I'm trying to get my cat down from on top of my dresser.
Oh, these are the struggles we have. So let's see. I got a Thai tea and a light and a toy in the way. All right, cool. And I got that weird ass light. There we go. Oh. So yeah. All right. Oh no, we lost Nicole. We lost everybody. Oh.
What? No, I'm still here.
So I think I told you about this. I don't know. I ran into a former student of mine at Target a while ago, right? And like I ran into him like around when the pandemic had started, and I like just did not want to be around people and just racing in and out of built places to get where I'm going. And I hear this out of an ocean of time. I hear, I know you. You work at blah 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 blah. And because he correctly identified it. And I looked up and I'm like looking for this little kid. And I'm like, holy crap, how are you? Fine, Mr. S. How are you? I'm like, I'm great. And we start talking and he's like, my mom's over there. I'm like, okay, well, let's go find your mom. And I talked to her for a while until we took a selfie, and I ended up sending it to one of the supervisors I worked for because she was like, holy crap, I haven't seen him in forever. I'm like, oh no. Mm-hmm. So long story made even longer. I ended up running into him. Into him again at the same Target a few months ago, and I heard him in the aisle. I didn't even see him. I heard, oh, look, there's Mr. S. Last time I saw him was September 30th, 2021. And I looked up and I'm like, there he is.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, how's it going, man? Fine, Mr. S. I'm like, where's your mom? And she's over here. So we went and found mom again, and like really nice guy. He's blessed with numbers. Numbers is fucking numbers. And that's okie doke. And so I ran and saw his mom again, and we started talking, and now he's 21. And fucking mom was like, oh, are you still working? I said, no, I quit. And she did not ask me why. But like, mom gets it. Like,
yeah, she's got to deal with that stuff 24. Yeah.
Yeah, she deals. Like this dude is awesome. Like this kid was always pretty good. Every kid has a problem spot. But they wouldn't be in my program. Wouldn't have been in my program. But he, like I said, he fucking knew numbers, right? And I rode the school bus he had to ride, and like if ever I had to get a substitute to ride my school bus, I would just tell them, just ask this kid what the route is, because he fucking remembers it all. And I had an aide come back to me the next day. She's like, Mr. S, you were right. Holy crap, was that kid great? I'm like, yeah, he just fucking knows, and he knows his routines, and he wants his routines to be as close to perfect as possible. Numbers. So like because we would have substitute bus drivers, and the guy would be like, oh, he would depend on me to ask for directions, and I'm like, you see this kid that's in the front row? Yeah, listen to him. This fucking kid knows. And yeah, he'd get us home every time, which is what I need in life. And so yeah, so now I'm friends with him on Facebook. Like I asked his mom. Yeah. So like, oh, weird. So yeah, when last time I saw him, I was like, all right, dude, we need to keep in touch. And I asked his mom, or asked him in front of his mom, like, do you have Facebook now? He goes, yes, Mr. S. Like, okay. And I asked his mom, even though he's 21, I'm still gonna ask mom. Like, is it okay if we're friends? Oh yeah, it's fine. So cool. We've been friends, and every once in a great while he'll put something on Facebook, and if I click the like button, within a minute, I am getting a personal wave from the guy. Like I notice he doesn't get like he has like a few dozen friends, I think. Like I don't know, like
yeah.
I don't think his friend count is high, but I'm always
That's
like,
so sweet.
When he shares something, I click the like to say like, hey, yeah, dude, I've seen you. I see you're here, and yeah, he always fucking waves back to me, which is like weird. Like nobody gives the interaction on the internet that this kid does. And I'm like, if everybody did, we'd all be wealthy
nicer
YouTubers.
people to each other, that's for sure.
Like, all right. Well, like
so I changed what I'm doing, by the way.
How dare you? Yeah, dude, it is adorable. What did you change? Oh, a tenacious pup. Danger dog, right? Yeah.
Well, I wanted to do a toy. I also didn't really know what I was doing with that canvas, and I was like, oh, I'm not feeling it.
So like that's the first, like I am not making a habit of this. In 14 years of working with kids and watching them grow, he's the first one that I've actually like friended and follow on social media. And I'm like, he's a grown-up. I have talked to his mom. His mom, very appreciative of special ed workers, and every Christmas she would give she would have a Christmas gift or holiday gift set aside for the aide riding that rode his bus. All right. And if you were a bus sub, if you substituted for riding the bus on that day, you got it. That was pretty much like the unwritten rule. Like we all knew that this kid's mom would eventually give out a gratuity, and if you weren't on the bus that day, you don't get it. Sounds fucking harsh, but I was like, yep, that's my rule. And for 2 years I got it. 1 year the lady who substituted for me one day, she's like, oh, his mom gave me this box of waffles for you. And I'm like, oh, did she give them today? She's like, oh yeah, they're yours. You rode the bus today. No, but she said it was for the teacher who rides the bus. I'm like, did you ride the bus today? Oh yeah, it's yours. I'm just like, I'm gonna argue this. You did me a solid. You get a box.
No.
It's like, yeah. All right, so I got my first color on. Check those highlights out. Like, just the brown. Well, I'll show the calf or the back. So that's pretty.
Is he good? Is this neon brown?
No, not yet. I'm considering it when after I get all these highlights done. So like I have there's a lot of process for just building up the colors. And so like yes, it's kind of on the agenda, Um, and if I get all the first set up tonight, probably will. Like my hope for this particular toy is to get like these 1, 2, 3, 4 colors dry brushed on, and then let it just cure for a while, and then dry maybe do something else tonight to it. But but yes, so yeah, there's a process, and I think neon brown is on the agenda. Actually, like the 3 that I've been painting for the Kickstarter rewards, only one of them has neon paint on it. The others are not. And yeah, so I've been really selective on my neon colors for this adventure. I don't know why. It's not like on any of these I've missed the phase where it's just like, oh, we can't do it anymore. So we'll see. I ended up. Oh, I want to show this episode. Let's see. I like the way heat treated metal looks. So on one of the horns, I painted up the horns a really light gray, and then just faded it out from like how you would do a heated metal on an exhaust. So you have that yellow and orange to all the way to bright ass blue, and I really like how that came out. So yeah, I mean, like I finished doing all the base and the heavy lifting for these things, and now it's all just like a shit ton of little details and stuff. And I like the little details; they take longer to do, but it's just like it's the fun part where it's like everything comes to life now. So yeah. So like I shot the video for this, the video for this earlier in the week, so that I can have, so I could paint part of it, so I could show the airbrush stuff on camera, and then do this live. And I think when I do the YouTube video, it's gonna have this magical jump from one transition to like a big step missing, and I'm just gonna tag Paint Club and be like, see the work in progress on Paint Club. I don't.
Why not?
Sure yeah, and so yeah, just like the cross promoting channels and shit. So yeah, it's fun. How are we all doing tonight? We got people in the chat. We got people here. Do I what?
Do you ever buy like one color repetitively because you forgot that you already have it?
Sorta.
Like if you're out, do you ever go, oh shoot, I don't have blue paint?
Maybe. Yeah, sort of. I've gotten way better at it, but I used to all the time, especially like, when you go out and all your places just seem to be right next to each other. Like if Alicia wants to pick up something at Michael's, like right within the area of Michael's, I have close to Michael's, I have one of the hobby shops that I can go buy paint at. I have Blick Art Center, and I have Michael's, all within about within a mile of each other. So that kind of location does play into sometimes buying extra stuff, but also like I was just telling a buddy about this. I've gotten into the habit. So like I have a lot of paint. As mentioned previously on Paint Club, I have a lot of paint. And it's mainly because the way I test out paints for whether or not I want to actually like fall in love with the new brand. And so I do have a lot of paint, and I have been trying to make a concerted effort in reducing the amount of, I don't want to say clutter, but the amount of space I have with my paints, because I buy paints to see how they work, and I've figured out what works for me in my method of painting versus the platforms that I paint on, because some of the model paints work better on a toy than golden than paints that you would use on a canvas or a hardboard work. So, and
Yeah.
I use a combination of both, right? And it's just been like several years of trial and error. And but there's a couple paints that colors that I really really like as model paints, but I do not want to keep paying model paint prices. So um, I did the math once, and so little paint pot like this, all right, would run like $3-4, all right, and this is not a lot of paint, but it'll last a while, okay. But if I wanted a gallon of that, the way it's sold there, buying a gallon worth of those and then pouring it into a paint bucket, a gallon of that at that price would run about $1,000. Okay, even though, like, just like what we did on the show once with Colin and Alex, like testing out different paints, price per milliliter, whether it's an artist brand or a model paint, is pretty much the same. Sometimes the artist paints are cheaper, mainly because you can buy it just in a bigger container, right? So I've been making more transitions to like golden so flats and just various other paints, because like the one so flat's great for base colors, but like they're a pain in the ass to turn transparent and work in glazes. Can be done, it's just a pain in the ass. So they're all like, yeah, they're like I've put all mine in like squeeze bottles with a little bit of extra water.
That's because I'm base coloring it.
Right on. So yeah, these are all so flats in these containers, but yeah, I just like this is a little more controllable than just that jar. And yeah, it's
That's
cool.
a good idea because I like to put a little bit of like extender in it, so I like that.
So like I poured, and I didn't even use a funnel. I just poured it straight into this, and then like you got all the residual paints on the sides and stuff. So I took probably a little flow improver and a little
Not
water,
extender, thinner,
and shook it up really well. To then just pour in here so I can get every damn drop from the manufacturer, and then those jars just go in the garbage because I decided I refuse to save those. I'm not saving that. And
any chance the toy that CZ did called the pumpkin no. Shit, I need one because I just got an idea in my head from something that we did in like paint club year like 1 that I did. Do you remember the Luna I did from the bots with like that like sunset fade to it?
Oh yeah,
with like with like the tree branch like yeah. So I finally got crystals. Finally, years later, I finally got crystals I liked. I finally learned how to do the stuff with the crystals. It takes time. But I still have those the lanterns that come with it. So I have this brilliant idea for a Halloween costume, and now our custom costume. But now I need it. So if anybody who's watching has one,
does it have to be that platform?
Only because let me see if I could pull up a picture. Only because his hands do this.
What do the hands do? Just make fists? Why they do that?
No, they're out like this. Oh. And I want to dangle the lanterns from his hand. Oh, that would work! Sorry. What am I yelling? Why am I apologizing
Because
to
you're,
the
you're
cat
excited. When you're excited,
for
you
yelling
yell.
like that? Yeah, and I'm apologizing to my cat and then my stepdad who might hear me upstairs. What is that?
It is a vinyl toy from Creatology, um, i.e., Michael's brand of DIY vinyl toys that they made years ago, and
Yeah.
I've just it's been in my closet. Like clearly,
The second you said creatology, I'm like,
that is a testament to how clean how organized my closet is. Um,
oh my, that you knew exactly where that was the second I said that I was looking for something. Yeah. Oh my God. And its hands do something like that.
his hands are just like
Stop. That's so
Playmobil.
perfect. No, but that's fine because then it still could get dangle stuff. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, thank you. I love you. I was thinking of like, oh, and I have so many of them, so I could do that and like, oh, show the kids.
Yeah.
So next week I'm the lead teacher.
Oh yeah.
And that's the first time. That's the first time I'll be doing that.
Oh,
And by
very
lead
cool.
teacher, I mean I'm the only teacher. I have like a 16-year-old with me, like to help if necessary. And like I don't know shit about the Bible like that. Like to do like that kind of teaching. And I was like a little like, ooh, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that, especially when I don't really like believe in that stuff. Okay. And
just teach one of the lessons on how to cook, how to eat children. Just figure out how to prepare a child properly. You know, how to tell when a child is overcooked, when it's nice and tender, whether or not it's full of worms in its tubes or things like that. Just like, you know,
that's what I'm gonna do for Halloween. That's
real
for
practical
sure.
shit. You know, like.
Well, I was gonna pull out of thin air the only lesson that I remember my grandmother doing with us, which was the mustard seed lesson. And I don't even think it's in the Bible. I think it's one of those people like wrote it as a biblical quote, and it's like not even in there. It's just some bullshit people made up. I have to actually Google that now that I'm saying that. But
A lot of people
it's
quote the
supposed to be
Bible
like
without. A lot of people quote the Bible without pieces being in there.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
and
why
they're like,
why
Matthew,
should you
blah,
stop
blah,
that?
blah. I'm like,
why should you stop that happening?
It's supposed to say something like, if you have faith that's as small as the size of a mustard seed, like, basically like fucking Dr. Seuss, you can move mountains, kid. Like that kind of vibe. So like I kind of want to do a Dr. Seuss like lesson, but make it a mustard seed. So I don't have to quote the Bible, but it still has something that technically ties into the Bible, like my art usually supposed to with them. And I'm like, and I told, is it in the Bible?
What?
I always thought that was a lie. No, Jason just said it's in the Bible. Is it? Because I always thought that was like one of those fake, like
he could be lying
that
you in
people
the
made
chat.
up and like put on like
just because
those
he capitalized the
inspirational
B
posts
in
people
Bible
post
doesn't
and they're
mean
like,
he's right. How did you get all the viewers in the world? I started arguing.
You know what? I wish I knew where my Bible. I wish I knew where my Bible was right now because I can't. I don't know where my old one is because I know that there's someone around. There's somewhere. There is one somewhere around here. There we go. Words. Is it? That's crazy. Okay, so I guess my grandma didn't lie. Sorry.
What? A grandma
but like I told the
lied to you
lady
about a moral lesson?
she would have.
Come on.
She would have. This woman told me that she had tickets to a movie one time, and she didn't tell me what movie it was, and it was Passion of the Christ, and I was like 14.
I mean, my mom, if something happened to me, like let's say, I dropped my Legos and the structure broke, but I had said something rude prior to the dropping of the Legos. My mom would see, God punished you for being nasty.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
God punished you. So like I told the lady, you know, this is what I'm gonna do for the lesson, and she was like, I've never heard of that. And I was like, that's when I started doubting it. I was like, is it
Oh,
one of those things that like you see
doubt's
like
so
written
good,
on
isn't
like
it?
fucking like stitch or like those like canvases you buy that you could see at Marshall's that probably aren't real quotes by whoever they're quoting. And I'm like,
What? You mean my
damn.
grandma didn't
Like
invent
I was
most this
like
mess?
too.
I
Oh
thought
my
Bless
god.
This
And
Mess was a
I
grandma
was so
original.
like Bald
What
Eagle
about
did defeat Panda.
it? Did yes.
Look how cool it looks already. Here, no, you have to do this. You have to do this when you're doing that.
Oh yeah.
Not that, like,
I know, but that should be a
for
bigger
the-
block. So what the fuck?
stupid perspective. So Rick is going to post America Fuck Yeah as the song for this.
There you go.
America
Fuck yeah.
Fuck Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it actually after
The
you.
first time
and I talked about it 'cause I couldn't help it.
whenever I guess I might actually share this on my story tonight or tomorrow on Instagram, but because Instagram allows you to have songs on the story, Instagram does, but Facebook doesn't. But they're owned by the same fuck. Anyway, yeah. So that's the target. That's the target song for that. Okay, so let's see. I got 4. All right, this is why brown is so good. Brown is secretly good. No, brown is super great. Like I like to prime in brown instead of black or white. This is not going to be an absolute because I do like when I can prime in white. It's or when I can I will prime in white because it's easier to build everything. It's easier to put the bright colors on the white. But typically I prime with a brown and then I will give spot parts white or not. Or like in my prime pictures on Instagram and stuff, you'll see that if it's brown, if I add white to it, it's basically from the top. And that helps figure out for me where I'm going to lay out paints for certain values. But brown is a neutral color, just like black and white, but it's in the middle. So it's easy. So for brown, it's easier to if you're going to play with the levels, it's easier to add up from brown to white than it is from black to white. So like we all love our black primers. We all use our black primers. I fucking love black primer, but for the most part, like brown is like my go-to prime color. Even if it's a dark brown, it tends to be. It's typically like easier to build up from there. It's also easier, like depending on the brown, it's easier to build up yellow off of a brown than it is black or gray. And thank you.
Nah, I'm making fun of my gray love here.
So yeah, it's and then yeah, and there's some other ideas behind it. It's just it has a little more flexibility than starting out with black. And I mean, like you can build up to white with it, just like any other color, and it takes less coats of white to build up on brown than it does black. But yeah, it's secretly a great color. And one of the nice things about it is that because you can get it in a warm version or a cool version, you know. So if you're going to have a temperature controlled piece, you figure out whether or not you want to go with the burnt umber, which is for warm, and or dark raw umber, which is for cooler colors, and you can use that to help set your tone faster. And we as a society want our shit to be immediate. So brown is secretly good. And then let's see.
This cat is so mad at me. She's sitting across the room from me right now, like this.
So yeah, all my values
like
laid out.
she's just staring at me right now, Rick.
all my values laid out. That's awesome. Let's see. Now,
You know, with with the burnt umber and the raw umber, that was something that, like, because I am self-taught, that like I was maybe like 5 years into painting before I like understood that's why they were two different like names. Like I
And
knew
they
that they
both-
were obviously two different colors, but I was like, oh duh. Like
And-
once because it's a base that's cooler. Like it was just one of those like over my head. And whoop, there, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
burnt,
My computer's
burnt
telling me to
umber,
fuck off.
like, yeah. And burnt umber is really pretty over top of black. It's like, so, like, people are like, oh, you're spraying, you're putting, and it's cool, like, if you have a transparent burnt umber to go over black, it looks really cool. And if you're going with something that's like a toad or, toad, reptilian, or something of that nature, or something that's just like a little sickly green, building up from a black to burnt umber and then to your green, it comes out really, really nice. And you're already halfway to a realistic concept with just those three colors. So, all right. So, white can also be secretly, not secretly, but white can be fairly easy. Oh, and let's see. It can if I had remembered the right color from downstairs.
Have you ever used this?
What's that? Oh, I won't give them money.
Really?
Yeah, that's Culture Hustle, isn't it?
No, this is Artfinity.
Oh, Artfinity. Oh, okay. I thought that looks like the same bottle Culture Hustle uses.
I
My
know, but this
apologies.
isn't the silver. This is they just use this bottle for everything. This is their gold, and I bought another one. This is where I was like, hey, am I the only one who does this? That's why I'm glad that you do it too. When you buy things duplicate, I bought this again, and it's like $20.
Yeah.
But it is so good. It is like one streak, and it's flat gold, like mirrory, like crazy good. But I don't really feel like keeping two bottles of $20 paint in the house right now.
Yeah, no, like
I might return it if you don't want it.
Yeah,
You're like, yeah, return it, Ben.
So like, okay, I bought a number 10 brush to see how long it will take to beat it up. And I painted. There's a toy I was messing with this brush on one of the Mad. Actually, I've been messing with this brush on all the Mad Monsters to see like how far I can get with just this honker of a brush with that super nice point. And I've been pushing it around a lot. Like the only thing I'm not going to do with that are the eyes, and the eyes aren't even a 1/4 inch in diameter, so no fault there. All right, so white, secretly easy, sort of. So my rule of thumb is if I'm going to paint something white, I'm going to spray it and prime it white, and then paint around everything that isn't white. Everything I'm going to paint around what is white. That's my big secret for it, and that's my big secret for painting yellow too, is to spray it white and then or prime it with yellow and then not touch it again. But yeah, so my secret to painting white is to start with a color that is white adjacent, which sounds dumb. So I grabbed a really light gray. So white is historically a really shitty color to paint with because it has poor coverage. I don't understand the physics of its pigmentation because like all pigments should behave the same. White and yellows do not. So historically, about your range of colors that don't cover versus colors that do, it would be like your white, yellow, orange, red, and green. in that order that have shitty coverage. But for a yellow or for
Isn't
a
it
white,
nice that 2 of them are primary colors?
yeah. But if you want when you start with white, in order to have white and come out well enough for my tastes, I take a color that is like 80% white and has some other color into it. Even a white with a tint that's just white and yellow has more coverage than white or yellow on its own. Um, and that is definitely a way you can build up a warm yellow or a warm white or a warm yellow, is just to mix the two together and go from there. So for this case, because I start out with the raw umber and it's cool there, even though there will be some really warm um, accents on this thing. I am doing a color that is about 80% white and 20% blue. So it's very cool. On camera, it's going to look white, and it'll probably take 2 coats to get this based to look all right. And then I I could be lame and just do like, oh, the head is white because it's the head of a bald eagle, but it's not like there's an immediate cutoff on a bald eagle to do that. So I'm looking for
Yeah.
triangulations in that fur to give it like almost like that Kermit the Frog type. Um, yeah, I just used Kermit the Frog as a reference. So here's the first part. So I'm finding like points like that in the fur pattern to differentiate and not just have like a straight line of fucking white. And outline the body first, because since I've already been very careful at getting all those browns laid out, I don't want to start splattering a super light blue with that. And then because I am using brown and umber works really well with blue. And this is not going to, it's probably not going to be seen at the end, but the theory is there, and that's what I like. So, if you wanted to do a complementary, an actual like optical complementary of colors, so that you would mix, because like from the color wheel, we're all told like purple and yellow will make a brown or black depending on the quality of your paints. That if it's across the color wheel, they will neutralize and create black or brown. And blue and orange with paint manufacturers don't quite do that. But if you want to be able to get a really nice blue complementary uh, composition going on, you want your paints to make that black for you. Go with like a raw umber and a phthalo blue, and you mix those two together, and
That's
that'll
right.
create a sexy black. And so that's the like in college, if we were ever told like, oh yeah, make a composition with complementary colors, people you either go towards like your Christmas colors of your reds and greens, or those in the know would grab that and just be like, aha, there you go. And you would have this visual difference. And now like you would have two different goals. You would have one trying to be like, oh, well, I'm gonna have like the visual pop of having these two colors like a sports team uh, go against each other and visually create that effect, or you're going with the optical look to be like, well, my colors are rendering the black. And so depends on what you want, depends on how you get it. And yeah, so like masonite, the masonite hardboards that people paint on, that's pretty much a raw umber color. So like you can actually you can paint on those and use that. Like if you sealed it with a matte medium or a clear acrylic binder, you could use that brown color as your base and then build your darks with black and your lights with white, and have the brown act as a free color for you. And, which sounds fucking weird to do until you do it. It sounds weird in theory, but once you start doing it, works out.
You're like, oh shit.
Like, oh, achievement. So, yeah. And that's the
I love that. Ooh, achievement.
achievement. Yeah. Drunk at a campfire and just start announcing achievements. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, so I've been beating this particular brush up for about a month. And the tip hasn't hooked. Not a lot of the bristles have tried to fray out, and that's pretty pleasing. Like, this is a $12 paintbrush, and it's big as fuck. It's bigger. It's half the size of my diameter wise. It's half the size of my pinky, but because it has that nice point to the end, it's like we're gonna paint. We're gonna see if I can put my name on a grain of rice.
Do it.
No, dude. Like I've already said, like those little eyes. No. But yeah. What else have you been working on besides your painting and stuff? I had a laundry list. I'm not going to occupy everybody's time with that.
Nothing. Because it was my birthday week, so I was like, bye.
Oh yeah, happy birthday again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I got asked to restore some statues that were in a garden, and so I brought them home a couple weeks ago, and it sat in my truck for a day. And when I let them out, I realized one of them was coated in ants. So truck has ants. So like, truck has ants. No, truck no longer has ants. And like, fortunately, I discovered all the ants in the world before I brought them into the house. So like, they got to sit in my garage for a couple of days to let the ant trap do its thing and not let them come into my house. And so like, I got these statues that are in desperate need of some patch repair before they get. I was told they're in desperate need of my color palette, which is great. And I was like, I agree.
I love that.
But yeah, so I just got them washed today. When I was first told statues, here I am thinking of something that's 3 feet tall, 3 feet or taller, and heavy as fuck. Well, not so much, but that's okay. Because I was thinking, great, I'm going to have to power wash these things. No, I ended up, I got a fancy ass tip to share with people too. Better than umber, better than brown. Do you airbrush at all or use paints? Or if you do use paints, do you prefer one or the other, or does it matter on the project? Yes. Okay, so I have been using an airbrush.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
That was multiple questions.
Yeah, and all the answer is yes. So yes, I
know, that's why I love it.
like, yes. And I'm so glad I actually caught that question before I dove back in. So I use an airbrush. I've been using an airbrush since 2016. I got one in 2015. And let's see, it was not the first time I learned. I was introduced to an airbrush, but it was the first time I was actually given one of my own. And I hated it. Actually, there's a hell of a story. I've been scripting in my head the airbrush story for my other YouTube channel, and well, hell, thanks for asking. I'm going to flesh it out here. So I hated it. I hated that it clogged. I hated not knowing like the different air pressures or the finickiness of it as a tool. I hated it. I hated that it didn't. I hated that it didn't work. I hated that I couldn't get it to work. I guess those are the two of the same thing. But I hated it. And here's what I learned from my hate: that yes, you can find a really good deal on Amazon, and that's great. So like I got it as a Christmas gift in 2015, and bless my heart, I tried, and I couldn't get it to work very well, and
That's
I
how
put
you
it
know
away.
you're from the South.
So I
Bless
put it away.
my heart, I tried.
Bless my heart. I tried it, hated it, and put it away. And I was like, well, there's a very fancy Christmas gift that's going to waste. And then I guess 6 months after, I ended up finding some good instruction on YouTube, because let's all remember, YouTube is the Matrix. It is the beta version, but it is very much the Matrix. If you can use your words to look for things, you can learn anything on the fucking on YouTube. Asterisks there. But you can learn a lot of things off YouTube,
Yeah.
if you search well enough. So yeah, I ended up and so what I discovered from the kit that I got. Now my kit came with a lot of cool things. It came with the compressor, it came with the airbrush, it came with the little rack to hold the airbrush while you're idle, so it holds it like this, and that's cool. And then it came with a clearing pot, or I think that's what it's called, a fucking thing you stick the airbrush in, and it has another filtered port, so you can just shoot out all your cleaner and stuff in there and not release all your cleaning agents into the air you breathe. So it came with some stuff, and it came with paints, and those paints sucked, but I did not know they sucked. Okay, but yeah, they're shitty. They were shitty, and I was basing my whole experience on me hating the airbrush based on the shitty paints that was provided to me. And yeah, and so for 6 months it sat and collected dust. And then after some experimentation with some of the paints, the hobby paints that I have that actually aren't formulated for the airbrush, but with enough thinner, you can shoot almost anything through an airbrush. So yeah, ever since about mid 2016, or mid to late 2016, that's when I started using the airbrush, because like I finally figured out, or was shown, a method, and just went from there. And I use an airbrush on almost every project, and at the very least, it's just to get the first coat of paint on. Like after it being primed with the auto primer, like the first color's probably going to be airbrushed, and probably the second or third too. But yeah, I've been a painter. Let's see, because I'm looking at the whole multi thing. Do you use an airbrush or use paintbrush? I use a combination of the two. There's almost no, and ever since 2016, there's almost not been a project. It's very rare. Probably 10% of my projects since 2016 haven't seen an airbrush. Like, actually, yeah. Let's see if I can find. There it is.
To answer his question, no, I don't have one, and I would love to.
So, like this piece that I showed last week, that it has not seen an airbrush yet, and I kind of doubt it will. I mean, technically it did, because the first colors I put on it were a nice fade from orange to green, but I painted over that, and then I've done all this with just a paintbrush. And I think the terrain will also, the revised base, because I hate that wheel, will be airbrush too. or will be just paintbrush too, because everything seems to be like kind of like lockstep on in the processes of what I like to do, and that'll be it. Let's see. Do you prefer one over the other, or does it matter on the project? It kind of matters on the project too. So I just finished a what do you want to call it? A commission. I can't actually. I don't think I can show it. So I don't like it's. I've already shipped it. I don't think I can show it. I did a lot of it on the airbrush because he wanted like really smooth paints, and it was also like all very very flat. So like the things in white clothing. So it's like cool. I primed it white. I gave it a little spruce with a light gray, and then white over top of it just to give a little volumetric dimension. The skin tone, same thing. I had to match a particular skin tone, and that just all one flat color. In fact, actually, the one of the few things that I did paint by hand was black because, you know, pretty hard to fuck up black, and everything else was super light. So it was like black's going to just be the last thing to do. Like, and with the airbrush, I really like painting neon colors with the airbrush because they just come out a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Looking at neon, like you can paint neon colors with the paintbrush, no problem. I have lots of people do. You can dry brush with it. You can stipple with it with a stippling brush or any kind of brush, and or sponges and whatnot. And you can make your colors super bright. But if you want it under a black light, the airbrush is the way to go because the black light's going to show every freaking paint stroke from a neon color, because in that paint stroke you're going to have varying thicknesses of the pigmentation and how the bristles spread it around. And under a black light, it random, I know. Black is the color of the month. Black is the color of the month. Yeah, it's fine. Look, I'm heavily caffeinated. I'm doing everything that I love to do right now. I'm talking and painting.
Look, it matches my nails. The color of the month.
Here you go. Way to sport the color of the month, Nicole. Yeah. So, like, yeah, I'm doing my two favorite things:
I
talking
hope
and
I
painting.
don't lose power while we're doing this because it's thunder. It's thundering here.
That's cool.
Well, I was doing it last night and I lost power.
Oh, no.
I guess around like midnight because that's what time my coffee machine
Oh,
says. And then
that's how when you
or,
know,
or
like,
what time it came back, I should say.
like we only have 2 clocks in this house that are plugged in, the stove and the microwave. And if we have a brownout, just a short enough brownout, the stove won't go up, but the microwave will. So you can kind of tell like how long. 100% true with blacklight. I've seen that. You can see both. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, like it's always hard to.
Rick, you know my painting, the butterfly. I had to take that into the fucking darkest rooms and take a blacklight to it like for weeks to get the saturation to not be strokey.
Yeah.
Because of how like the paint strokes are. Like if I had an airbrush, I'm pretty sure it would have not fit like that. Like I wanted it to have like the end pieces have like that little like pull out like, but like I wanted it to be like purposeful, not like what a brush stroke would do like this. Like I wanted to pull it on my own.
Right.
And it was like, oh look, that's not dark enough, or like that's not thick enough. Go back. And it's like you're using flat paints, and all of a sudden, like you're still trying to make sure that it's not like getting gooky and thick and chunky because it's supposed to be fucking flat. And I don't know how, but that painting I did, like I'm gonna pat myself on the back. It looks so good, but I would 100% never do it again. Somebody asked me if I would like replicate it smaller, and I was like, no, but you could buy the prints that I got the scan of. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't like unless I have an airbrush. Never again.
That is
Never
the
again.
joy. That is the joy of screen printing fucking neon colors. Is you get that one pass, it's all beautiful, it's all flat, and it's all
I want to do that too. Because I don't want to do enough things. Like,
exactly.
do you have any plans for tomorrow?
It depends. I have lots of. Yes, they're all fluid. So like,
They're all fluid.
yes. So like, I just the statues I just said I got commission. I got commission to work
Oh
on.
my god!
They
I
are.
thought you meant fluid. Like I thought you meant fluid. Like
No, my time is fluid. So it's
so stupid.
It's all
What is
based on
wrong?
what's going on. So like, if the weather's hot and the humidity's low enough, I'm gonna have to. I cleaned off these statues today. Okay, they're I think polystone, but they had to get cleaned off in my basement. Screen printing sucks. I did that for years. So did I. I got my BFA working in a printmaking lab, and
I was like that's. I was like that. That was Rick's.
I fucking love screen printing. Like, I fucking love screen printing.
When I wanted to learn how to lino cut, the first thing I did was text Rick, going, "Rick, guess what I want to try to do?"
I fucking love printmaking. I love it, but I don't want to have it in my house because so like
I want to find a
at my
maker space like
makerspace,
how you have.
At my makerspace, there was talks that they wanted to do screen printing in the basement, and they had a lot of the setup. The guy who was spearheading that had things pop up, so he cannot just devote his fluid time to the social club. And I'm like, I don't know enough to want to say like, I'll pick that up because I don't know all the ins and outs about like the plumbing and stuff. Because like I can even see that this guy has like a 3x3-foot wash basin set up for cleaning shit up, and he's got like something that looks like it should be an exposure table, and he's got like all this other stuff like just piled up. I'm like, that's rad. I would be a helper, not a doer. If that makes sense. Like, yeah. But anyway, so let's see. Meanwhile, back at the other screen center, back at the original story.
I gotta ask
What's
David
up?
real quick. You're in Jersey. Is it raining?
Oh.
Because I'm supposed to go to a food festival at American Dream tomorrow, and I am so scared about how it's gonna rain, and like, I have a bad feeling, and like I know, you can deal with bad news and shit like that, but I've been looking forward to this for like a month.
Right on.
And I'd just rather know from someone in Jersey.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Versus what my app's telling me.
I don't blame you. My app's
Well, because it told me it wasn't going to rain until like 7:30 today, and then like I was going to go to a carnival real quick before we went live, like literally real quick, like to go get cotton candy and like pizza free or whatever. And I walked out my door at 6:15 and it was downpouring, and I was like, "What the fuck?" We're in Jersey, the Meadowlands at MetLife. I was about to say Giant Stadium, and every time I do, people are like, "That's not the name of it anymore." I'm like, "Okay, jeez." Fight me about it. My bad. Yeah, like I'm so sorry that I don't like to name the stadiums after whoever paid for it.
Oh, that's crazy. All right. Well, that's yeah. So
no, I'm asking you. Currently, is it raining? Not like what's the percentage like? Is it currently raining where you are? And if you go outside, do you get wet by the clouds?
Yeah. So part of my plans for tomorrow
back to what Rick was saying.
is like, so if the weather's really nice, I have to put those like they I washed them in my basement. They're soaked. So I need them to dry out before I put any real primer on them. So it's probably a day or two of them drying. And then I'm like, for these things, because they will also be outside, I'm going to be hitting up using automotive paint to do the majority of the heavy lifting, since they'll be protected by, or it should be more UV resistant and stuff. So I might end up with some golden Montanas too. Um, but yeah, like those those statues are kind of a priority, but like everything's a priority right now.
Yeah.
Like the one thing, the lowest priority is this that I'm working on, and like the three that are Patreon or Kickstarter rewards should be finished up this week. Of course, I think I've been saying that for the past month.
So what? You got shit to do.
It's true, but this is
Oh,
this is an
I have
obligation.
3 of your pups, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh,
The
from Plastic Pizza.
ones.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Are any of them brown?
So I could look. I gotta send it to you.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, with your umbrella.
I'm looking up my radar map currently. Yeah, so there we
With
go.
your
So the
umbrella.
first of I'll probably put 2 coats of this really light blue on. And yeah, let's see. Oh, I need my shade. Yep, so yep, the first of 2.
So
First of 2 for that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dave and I are a part of this really cool like gift exchange thing that
Oh yeah?
ended today. Like you have to ship it out by today and all that. And it was rainbow. So you have to get 7 things, like each, like one color, like an item for each color of the rainbow, like toys, collectibles, whatever. And it was hard. In my opinion, it was hard.
Really?
Like for certain colors, I thought so, yeah. But like, well, and also to make sure that you were getting something that like the person would like.
Oh.
I thought it was difficult, but I liked it. I liked the difficult, you know what I mean? Like I liked that challenge. I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I was like, I love
the thrill
it.
of the hunt. Right on.
And we didn't do indigo because that was harder. So the 7th color was like you pick, and my ass, of course, being the artist, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do black and gray. Like I'm gonna do two things, like a black thing and a gray thing, because black is the inclusion of all of the color, and gray is a shade. And I was just like, oh, I love it. And I was like, this is gonna be my color, and I thought I was just so smart. But like it was so difficult to do, and now that like it's all done, I was like, oh, Dave, like I should mention it since Dave's watches the show and everything, and I was like, I can't wait to see what like everybody else, like their brain concocted, like to think of like how to check mark each color. And like of course like my ass while I'm shopping, because I'm super stupid, like ADD, and I was like, what colors did I already put in the box? Red, purple. And then like in my head I kept having to like say it out loud, to the point where I literally texted myself. Like I texted my own cell phone number. I was like the list, and then I realized like you're an idiot. You could write a list in your notes, you dumbass. So I made like a list on my notes, and the check marks, like I kept forgetting to check them off, and I was like, this is so unhelpful. Like I am so not helpful to myself. Like I am my own worst enemy. I used black and gray for your yes. See, I thought that was so witty. Black and gray is the final color because it's like the inclusion of all color.
I almost
did white. No, I did do white.
I bought 2 green items I don't understand.
See, okay, so You were supposed to get 7 items, right?
Okay.
One
7
for
items.
each color.
Okay.
So 1 red item, 1 orange item, 1 yellow, green, blue, purple, and then
Following that.
a mystery item. And
Okay.
it was just difficult to find like collectibles that matched like the person's likes per each color. Like you're like, oh shit, this is a red item. Do they like this stuff? And then like you're like sitting there going on their Instagram and like going on like their wish lists and stuff, and you're like, do they like that? Because you're like, it's kind of scavenger hunty.
You mean like Amazon
It's not
wish
like
list?
just building like a secret Santa. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and it's like what the app has like you can build your own wish list that actually sends you to Amazon. So yeah, and like it's like scavenger hunt in my opinion, because it's like Secret Santa. You build like just like a random box like of cool stuff for like Christmas gift. But this was like you have to fulfill like all the obligatory 7 colors. So I made sure my last color, and so did Dave. We use Elfster. That's right, we use Elfster.
Elfster?
We both did black and gray, and I forgot I put something white in mine too, because I was like, that's the exclusion of colors. Like I was so or like a pigment or whatever. I was so like bougie about
that seems
my damn
topical
box. Don't make me spit out the fact that I just switched to tea.
Oh, come on, we're gonna have a spit take tonight. All right. In fact, I'm just gonna write it down. Spit take theater for August.
You had a person that had horror. Okay, yeah. See, I had somebody that I was like, oh dear God, this is like, if somebody likes like when somebody has everything and people think that it makes it easier to buy gifts for them because like they like everything, but no, it's because they have everything.
I don't know when my mom started this, but my mom just like whenever she sees something she wants, she just fucking buys it, and it's almost always been that way, and it's always made her very difficult to shop for.
So, of course, my person didn't answer my Elfster stuff, so I was like, oh well, now I'm just gonna like figure out what the fuck I'm doing on a whim. It was easy to do. Okay, it was easy but hard. I shouldn't say it was easy because it was hard, but it was easy hard. Like it was fun still, and it wasn't difficult to like obviously like create something like what to buy if you're like a collector and stuff.
Turns out everyone had issues.
You're just sitting there going, "Oh shit, what's orange?" Like, or you sit there and you go, "What's yellow?" Purple was hard for me. Purple was the hardest one for me.
But you're buying it for a person you know, or somebody you found on this?
No. Yeah, it's like a group of people, and we it gets like anonymously hat picked. Who your partner is, like a regular old Secret Santa, just in July in Rainbow. Everyone complained about orange. So orange was my second to last, and purple was my last. Red was my first. Red, it went red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple, and then because the black and gray, I already knew what I was going to get, so I just bought them afterwards. So I can't even call that like difficult, I guess. But the red was easy as hell. It's hard, but it was fun. We usually do 4 times a year. Next year we're gonna do 3. No, is it all rainbow? Is it fun like this where you have to sit here and like? I love swaps like this because I love like getting people gifts that I don't know. Like, is that weird? I like buying strangers presents.
That's fun.
I think I need to start getting people I know presents more.
Did you ever buy into the Loot Crate stuff?
Back in the day I did, yes.
Okay.
I have many a thing over here that's still from there.
no
Did
shame
you?
in that. No, I always liked the idea, but when it hit, I could not afford such luxuries in my life. So I just always thought like that's kind of cool. And at that same time, I was seeing somebody who introduced me to an idea of gift giving that I pretty much I still do, and not to the
What's that?
extent, but I like it. So this person introduced. First off, she introduced me to White Castle. Never again. So, but oh, actually,
Ooh, don't tell K Ray. Don't tell K Ray isn't this. He loves his White Castle.
I don't care. Like we'll do. We could talk about the shitty Play-Doh fucking food any day of the week, and yeah. But anyway, I was like, I will debate somebody on White Castle. That's fine. I don't have to argue. I will debate. Anyway, so but she got me into the like she gave me a Christmas gift after I don't know, just a handful of months. And well, we exchanged Christmas gifts, right? And I gave her one, and she gave me a box. But inside the box was more boxes. So it was very much like I think we spent $50 on each other, right? But she bought like 4 things.
Was it like a
So I would
Matryoshka doll of
so I would have the
boxes?
so I would have the joy of opening up multiple boxes. And this is right before I got really into painting custom toys. So it's just like, yeah, you understand I understand the joy of opening things, and then when you get into the joy of opening blind boxes, so you can like either be like, what are you going to customize or what are you going to keep? It was really, really close to each other, you know. So like that whole
Yeah.
behavior. Okay, so yeah, um, but I couldn't afford I could not afford Loot Crate at the time. But I totally get it. I understand. I think that's why blind sticker packs are successful because people want that little bit of not obligated gambling. They just like that.
Mystery.
They like the surprise. What is it in Witcher? The law of surprise. But yeah, so like I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
just the what that mentality. God damn it! I had something I wanted to talk about on that, but I lost.
See, I still get like monthly subscription boxes.
I
Not Loot Crate, but I get one for like face products and makeup and stuff like that. It's mostly skincare stuff because like you can pick like what you prefer to get
sure.
in terms of like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, please God, send me all the things like to make my skin not crazy. And my mother's rolling around in her ash box at the fucking cemetery hearing me say that. She used to sit there and try to like do my face all the time, and I'm like, stop touching me. And
Right.
then I also get it. God, this sounds so stupid. The box is called Goddess Provisions, but it's like a whole holistic, like spiritualistic shit, and it has like incense and like, you know, like jewelry and stuff like that, or like, you know, different. It has like the lunar calendars, like, you know, little things like that. And I like, they've given me like 2 books in there that I actually really liked. Like one was about like, it was like a journal, and it was just about like, you know, manifesting things for yourself, but it wasn't like stupid like, oh, if you manifest it, it'll happen. It's like, no, you have to do the work. Like they talk about, you know, you got to do the work while like talking about wanting these things to happen for yourself. You can't just say, oh, I want it, and it's going to be like, here you go. Like that's not how that works. And I loved that about the book. Like I'm like, oh my God, that's so smart. Like that they're not just saying like, oh, manifest and it'll happen. They're like, no, you need to put the work in. And the other one was like an herbal thing, and it gave me like ideas on like shit for my garden, what I can use like outside in the earth. So it's like, it's not just like, it's not like crystals and it's like, you know, they have candles
Dippy
and like,
do-goodery.
yeah, and I loved it. I fucking loved it.
know.
I love it. Because like like I know a lot of that stuff brings comfort to like a lot of people. And like one of my friends, she's trying to have a baby, and she was like, Nicole, I know that you probably have a gold and blue candle. Can you light a blue and a gold candle for me? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I just like lit one of them on the side to melt it a little, and I fused them together. So now they burn at the same time. And she was like, "Ah, oh, you get me." And I'm just like thinking it came from my fucking spiritual. But I'm like, yeah, why not? Here, sure.
I sure do.
And like, I know that they cost, like, it adds up after a while, like, to get that stuff. But even my skincare one, they send me razor blades like every like 2 months, so I don't have to ever go get replacements. Like they just they do like that Dollar Shave Club vibe or whatever. Thank you. Ew, don't say that, because as like an Italian, like Ukrainian lady, like that is so. Oh my god, that's very something that could happen. My Aunt Clara, when I was younger, oh my god, she used to get chin hairs, you know, my Zia, so my full blood Italian aunt, and I used to sit there and to ask if I could pluck her chin hairs, and she'd look at me and she'd, like, you know, pop her hand up in the air and be like, "You're gonna get it one day like that too." And I was like, "No, I'm not."
I have an appreciation that like manscaping and people there I appreciate the capitalistic idea that people are making a buck on the idea that men should groom themselves down there. All right, whatever. Do I approve of it? No, not really. But I really can't. Yeah, but I really cannot stand like when I'm listening to like certain podcasts and then they just like, well, this is brought to you by the Dude Whacker, and we're like, hey man, have you ever used the Dude Whacker? Oh yeah, I use it. Oh man, everything's clean. It's like pushing aside the hash browns. There's the sausage link. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, I do not need to fucking hear this. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, yeah.
That's like a commercial for you. Have you ever heard eugenics?
Yes. Yes.
Not eugenics. Oh my god, not eugenics. Jesus Christ.
Yes,
Nicole,
I am. I think you're thinking something else.
That's totally something else. Okay, who? The people who are in this.
I don't know. Have you heard of eugenics?
No, the people who are watching this would know the commercial I'm talking about. It's with Dave Thomas. When the motherfucker's talking about his
Wendy's
fucking libido and shit like that.
Oh.
No, not that Dave Thomas. Fucking baseball is.
Oh, I was thinking Rick. The other Dave Thomas I know is the guy who was with Rick Moranis's.
Watch me not even have the right guy's name. Oh my god!
You're not Frank Thomas, are you?
It's like, Frank Thomas. Oh, there we go. The King Wendy's.
And there's Jesus Nicole, Christ. All excited.
So,
Frank Thomas. You nailed it from Rock and Jock softball. Way to go.
I'm so proud of you.
We could all play like how much caffeine Rick had tonight. Or what time's Rick going to bed?
So,
or what
have you heard of that? Have you heard his commercial?
No. Seriously, the
Frank
whole
Thomas
joke
is like talking about how he's like.
My whole joke is pretty much everything I know.
I did confuse.
Yeah, dude. I bet you Frank Thomas could put away more fucking hamburgers than Dave Thomas. Either Dave Thomas. I bet you that fucker in his prime could have closed the Wendy's down.
My dumbass, like, I'm not.
But man, could that guy hit a fucking softball?
Earlier today, I couldn't think of the word for Halloween store, and I couldn't think of the word for Halloween store. And I'm driving past this place that like always is a Halloween store, and they finally put it into use, like for something besides once a year. And I was like, oh, it's not the spooky store anymore. It's like, what the Nugenics?
I feel Nugenics should be like a brand of weed.
Okay, so
Nuggenics, right? Like that should be a brand of weed.
can we just please give me some credit for getting close on all of this?
Like, am I wrong? Like, crowd out there that's watching, and if you're watching this in the future, recorded, thank you. But really, should Nuggenics should be like medicinal weed sold to
I think
people
that would be
who really believe.
that would be such a great strain. Could you imagine the strain that would be?
It depends on how much you want to believe. It's like that meme where you have a very nice dressed young man saying, "I saw the sign out front. I believe you'll buy anything." So like, but did the Dave Thomas? Yeah, the Wendy's founder Dave Thomas is dead, but the one who used to partner with Rick Moranis on SCTV, is he still alive? Like, I suppose I could look it up, but I have to put the paintbrush down. But then it kills interaction with Nicole's dead. I killed her with truth in comedy. Or Nicole is frozen, and that means I'll get a mark over on the screen that says Matt Hatches has joined again. Yeah. Maybe it should be Spit Take Theater. I don't know. Yep. Like I said, she just bailed on. Maybe she spit on her fucking computer, and it's like, all right. Yeah, she froze for sure. Yeah, she's booted. She'll come back in the queue. Like, it's almost 10 o'clock. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to put up soon, so we'll wait till Nicole comes back on to say goodbye. Well, have you been entertained tonight by a very loosely formatted show? And if you're from the future watching it recorded again, thank you, and I hope you were entertained by a very loosely formatted show. There we go. There's that mattress show on screen. There you go. Hello. Did you do a spit take on your iPad?
No, I lost internet. I lost the internet.
Oh, okay.
Like the Wi-Fi cut out, I guess, because it's raining and shit. I don't know.
I was like, all right, Nicole, we just got you like this doing a dab off screen. I'm like, oh, she spit on her iPad and it fucking shorted it out.
And do you know what's funny? I actually said, I can't tell if he's frozen or if I'm frozen. So I'm just going to sit here and figure this out. And then obviously no one said anything in the chat. And I was like, well, I guess it's me. But it gave me a chance to breathe.
Funny shit going on, right?
Like, you're just like, look at how much caffeine I've had, man. And I'm just like, look at how much, like, I'm clearly so tired that I'm calling Frank Thomas, Dave Thomas, and Nugenics, Eugenics in the fucking Halloween store, the spooky store. And I don't know what day it is. I'm like, clearly.
You knew what day it was. You showed up today on time.
I know.
Or
I know.
Early. And
I did.
So, like,
where's Dylan? Where's Dylan to take note of that?
I don't know, but that's all right. Like, maybe he left on your introduction. He's like, "Fuck, she's can't do it today."
So him and I are actually
yes,
we're gonna go see Oppenheimer next week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Spirit Store. And he goes to me, and yeah, this is me. This is me calling him out because he goes to me. Do you know anything about him? And I was like, of course I do. And he was like, oh, I was hoping you didn't. And I was like, it's not like a fucking Marvel spoiler. It's goddamn a history. Like, it's not like, oh, I wonder what happens. Like,
will it explode?
Right? Will everybody at Los
Neil Tyson DeGrasse?
I was just, and I also was a history minor, so I'm like thinking, like, are you stupid? Like, just for a second. And I will let you know how it is. But for Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm laughing at that because his son was on that show, Claim to Fame. That's on like I forgot which, and it like you have to guess like how they're related to a celebrity, and he looks just like his dad, and he sounds just like his dad, and it is absolutely goddamn hilarious. And they figured out who his dad was pretty fast, and he was just like his dad was like, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, and people were freaking the fuck out, like, because he did a video message or whatever. And the youngest Jonas brother, the one who's not famous, he goes, "Your dad was my hero. I actually studied all that."
Because he's not.
Yeah. He doesn't have his claim to fame is his brother. And like he starts to cry, telling like Tyson's kid, like, your dad was my hero and is my hero. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I feel like if Neil deGrasse Tyson was in the room, he'd be like,
no, like, I think it's about damn time that you idolize people or appreciate people who have like brains and common sense as opposed to who could put a sphere in a hoop the most in a 20-minute time period. Like,
hey, you'd be proud. My stepdad had no idea who LeBron James was when I mentioned him today. He goes, I've heard of the name, and I'm like,
those who know me know I do not have a high opinion on professional sports.
He does not.
So yeah, like, cool.
The All-Star game was on my birthday. Do you know how happy I was?
Yeah. And like, yeah.
But I don't idolize
All right.
him.
What was Frank Thomas's nickname? Do you know it? I remember it. And like I said,
are you asking me?
Yeah, you. And it was not the Whopper. No. Yes.
That's not even the right burger. That's not even the right burger chain.
I know. That's what makes it funny. It's like me mixing my sports metaphors.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy could hit the shit
my
out of a
fucking God.
softball. It was so fun.
My sister, she one time said to me and my dad, because like this girl doesn't know shit about sports. That's when you said mixing sports metaphors, dear God. This girl, she turned to my dad and goes, the Cowboys will never win the World Series. And I was like,
she is correct.
That's literally what I said to her. I look at her and I go, well, technically that's right. The way that you think, but like that's correct. Like, I don't know how to respond to this because
like when I was working for the public school, I sat with the guys and they all talked sports, not all the time, and they did, and it's like when I wanted to have a humorous say, like whatever sport they're talking about, I'm like, oh yeah, like they're talking baseball, I'm like, oh, are the Vikings going to the World Series this year? And they're like, what? And the gym teacher will always be like, I believe you've messed this up on purpose. And I believe you are right, but yeah, it would piss off. It would not piss off, but it would aggravate one guy. Like, Strohmeyer, you don't know anything. And then the gym teacher's just like, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Like, yeah, very much so. And like
my dad, I'm his son. I'm my dad's son, so he made sure that I knew everything that was to be known about sports very fast, and would like sit me down in front of a TV with his friends and be like, "Watch my daughter call plays on the field. It's great. Watch this." I'm like sitting there like, do I now dance monkey? Like, like, perform, child, perform.
Yeah, the gym teacher once because like I would like whenever I take the kids to gym, they just got to do whatever they did. They played with these were kids that could just play with the other kids, etc. And I'd hang out with the gym teacher. And one time he told me, "Hey," because I did cross the line one day at lunch, and it pissed him off enough to where 2 hours later, I got a talking to. And are you going to tell your dad that you called Frank Thomas Dave Thomas? Totally should. So, but
now
he
that
told
this
me,
isn't on Facebook Live, I have to let him know separately. Yeah.
but he told me, hey, you can say whatever you want about any of the teams, but you're not, but do not talk about. And he said what season or what year of the Twins, and I was like, all right, just like I could be like, well, you know, I
That's the
feel
only
I
rule
must
to play by?
ridicule every what. It was one of
You're
the.
like,
It
that's
was
the
one.
only rule to play by?
Yeah. He just so he and like when you're in Minnesotans fucking love Minnesota. All right, like that's. I think I'm pretty certain I've said that on this show before. Minnesotans fucking love Minnesota. All right, more than any other geographic location in this country loves their geographic location. I promise you, Minnesotans' love of Minnesota is beyond a New Yorker's love of Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, wherever. I promise you, it's greater. And it's crazy. And all this guy told me was don't talk bad about a particular year. He's like, and the reason being is it was one of the years that the Twins won the World Series, all right, with Kirby Puckett. And he's just like, that is a hometown hero. It is a Cinderella dream with the Twins going to the World Series and winning. And both World Series they've gone to, they've won. And so it was clearly a line I didn't know not to cross. I'm smiling now. Thank you, 1991. And yeah, but like when Kirby Puckett died, they shut down Minneapolis to have for his funeral and stuff, so that they could have like whatever proper send off on the the stadium the Twins played at, and it was a huge deal, and it lasted more than like they had a ceremony the day before, they had a closing ceremony the day after, and it was intense. It was like having a president come from Minnesota and be the world's best president. This fucking Kirby Puckett. You don't talk bad about that fucking team anywhere. You can joke, yeah. You can joke about the North Stars going to Dallas and be the Dallas Stars. You can joke about all the shit in the world. You do not fuck with that team. And it's not like they're gonna key your car or anything. The worst thing that the Minnesotan will do is not talk to you. Because Minnesotans know passive aggressive better than any other person in this fucking country too. So their pride in Minnesota and their ability to be passive aggressive is the tip of the iceberg or the top of it. So yeah. Don't do that. But we have a good time.
And see, New Yorkers, we have we just hate our team and who plays on them.
You see, that's why Minnesota has more passion. No matter how bad the team goes, they love them. They never hate them. They may say like, "Oh, those."
I never will hate my team.
Car on fire if you are an Eagles fan. Yeah,
yes.
no, like.
Yes.
Like seriously though, like
literally
and so like, and my appreciation of all the sports here is that a lot tax dollars from the sports ball teams do go into the arts here. So like, it's crazy. We have a really nice art community in like the Walker Center of Contemporary Arts and the Minneapolis Institute of Arts is partly funded because of all the sports teams that we have, and they're not. And you'll notice when whatever sports team we have, it's not the Minneapolis Timberwolves or the St. Paul Twins. It is Minnesota. It is there. It's always a Minnesota team. It's not a city centric name. So like mainly because like Minneapolis, Twin City, Minneapolis, St. Paul is the big city. There's a lot of shit around it, but it is all Minnesota, and they fucking love it. Like,
See, we have a rule where we can sit here and go, fuck A-Rod, fuck Jeter, fuck, whatever, whoever we're mad at, fuck him, fuck that shit. That piece of shit motherfucker shouldn't even be on the team. He ain't even pitching right. Why is he even on the field? Take him out.
Yeah.
Take him out. He's throwing 3 fucking home runs.
Yeah.
But if you do it, no, fuck you. You can't fucking talk about our team like that. That's our motherfucking team. So there's a huge thing that Yankee fans we're super, super good at. We're good at telling our team to go fuck itself. And
yeah, but you want to defend the team because it's
but don't you dare talk about our team.
It's your abused spouse, not theirs.
Exactly. Don't you dare talk about our Yankees like that in our presence.
It's like you have reverse Stockholm syndrome for a bunch of millionaires.
It's seriously.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm going to the home opener of the Buffalo Bills because they're playing the Raiders.
Ooh, I bet
and
they skin them alive.
It's the closest game for me this whole split year, probably. And I know I'm going obviously into like the dungeon, and like I know this is a conference rivalry or whatever, and it's it's all stupid, blah blah blah. And my friend was like, "Are you gonna go dressed crazy?" I was like, "Oh, absolutely!" Like anytime I go to a Raiders game, I have like the black and silver face paint. I have like studs on like my shirt. I have the whole crazy Raider outfit on, and I'm gonna sit next to all of that blue and red with pride. And but I'm the first person that's like, if you do that to our team, I'm like, who the fuck you think you are?
So like I've been to 2 Twins games, and the last time, it was carry the one a long time ago. And it was the Houston Astros played, and I was cheering the Houston.
Were they
Astros.
in Houston?
No, we were here in the Twins, and I was cheering for the Houston Astros, and nobody's like, "Fuck you, man! Twins all the way." No, everybody's like having a good time. There was a dude wearing a retro Astros jersey, like 2 rows down from me, and I was like, "Love your jersey, yeah!" Everybody's having a good time. We're eating our Dairy Queen and our fucking hot dogs and everything else. And
was it before 2017?
Yes, it was very much before we had we got the new outdoor stadium. But
now, if this was now, and you were to be playing the Astros, your team would be yelling "fuck the Astros" at every single possibility, like we do.
Because they cheated.
I know. I'm just saying that.
Because they decoded somebody's fucking coded message. Really?
Yes, like, that's exactly why people still yell.
All right, Rain Man. Like they figured out the taps on a fucking garbage can. Right? That's how they did it. Right?
People are petty.
They figured out Morse code.
People are petty. I'm just saying.
I'm like, all right, cool. You. I don't know what the big deal is, right? Like, you figured out a way.
Do you know how many people booed A-Rod after he like did his drugs, and it was like 5 years later that like it long past it, and people were like, "Fuck you, A-Rod." I'm like,
what, for a performance enhancing drug?
Yeah.
So you took something that was against regulation.
So you
took something against regulation to pad your wallet?
Yeah. I don't like him. Just saying, I don't like him. But I'm just saying, like, when you hold on to those kind of shits for like 6 years, like.
So a dude did something unethical so he could have more money, or to ensure he had, like.
Congress.
I'm not going to drive this point home any farther. Or like, yeah.
Hey, Altuve had a wire on him.
It was like, all right, cool.
Today. I went to a Yankee playoff game last year, and like something had happened in like the first game of the season like that.
I mean, I've played paintball a couple times, and I would have traded my grandma to know what the other people were thinking, to figure out the other people's code, so I wouldn't get shot in the face. So like, and that's just a recreational thing, like. So yeah. That being said, we have been doing this for 2+ hours. I'm just gonna go run around the block.
It doesn't feel like it.
Well, it's been, like I said, it's my favorite thing.
It doesn't feel like it. It just doesn't feel like it's been 2.5 hours.
So I'm gonna share, like.
Oh, can I show a sneak peek too?
Sure. All right, do your sneak peek. I'm going to show what
2
coats of a light blue look like, and then.
Please tell me it's here.
Yeah, there's 2 coats of a light blue. So then I will beef it up. I will beef in. There we go. Perfect. I will beef it up with. Probably dry. There we go. Dry brushes of white and wonderful. Dry brushes of white and some glazes to go into the recess. Really sloppy glazes to go into the recess. You can get that looking sharp. Yeah. And so now it'll just sit on the shelf for about 2 weeks for me to bitch and moan that I haven't finished it. So that's where we are right now.
Don't do that.
No.
Well, I guess I'm not showing the sneak peek because I didn't put it in this bag and I don't know where I put it.
Shame.
But I'll show it next. Well, I'll show it next time when it's actually like complete and it's like the full sculpt. But I'm making 2 sculpts. I talked to JFO about helping me like do the physics behind the second one, but one is called wow, Jesus Christ, ice cream, but
Mm-hmm.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Lots of that. And.
And then the other one I can't talk about until I actually like have it done because
right.
I don't want it to get copied.
They picked up on this. What's the harm in that? Like, so like, all right, so picked up the signs between the pitcher and the catcher. Let's say you're at a fucking Wendy's. Your coaches, your pitching coach and your hitting coach are at a Wendy's. And they accidentally left the playbook on the table. Left with the playbook on the table, and then somebody happens to find that fucking playbook. Their competition buys said playbook from a dude who just was cleaning up Wendy's because these 2 people
Yeah, it was cleaning Wendy's.
They didn't bust their fucking table, so a guy making like $12 an hour is like, oh, looky here, we got the
Next
Yankees
book
fucking
for the Yankees.
yeah. So you think that guy's not going to make a couple bucks trying to sell coded playbook? Yeah. Especially since they didn't bust their own fucking table. All right. World of hypotheticals. All right. So with that being said, it's because they looked at the big screen and you aren't supposed to do that. It's stupid. I know. Oh. But they showed what they were doing, right?
But he also had a wire on him. Altuve had a wire on him.
I mean, I've seen MMA.
Okay,
I've seen MMA fights where like the cornermen are yelling at their dude to do stuff, and the other cornermen are like, "Oh, they're gonna try and do this. Kick him in the head before he does." Fight's over in 20 seconds because they were like, "Oh, paying attention to what's going on 80 feet away." All right. that being said, Nicole, tell these beautiful people who are not recorded where they can find you, and tell the pre-recorded. Hey, there you go. Cool. And I'm. Oh God, I can't do it today. Oh, there we are. Go Team Venture. All right, Rick Stroh. Everywhere. Threads, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's the way it is. Thank you for
I
visiting.
gotta go claim my name on Threads, I guess.
Thank you for visiting the kingdom of Matt Medium. We'll see you in August. Chowski.
Yeah. Don't forget, black color of the month. Get your shirt ready.